me, Edwin Taylor. You're listening to the Devil You Know podcast. As you listen to my voice, maybe you'll come from your ear pussy. Cherry.
Hola, gringos.
¿Cómo estás? Ustedes?
What's up?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
I'm doing moderately keno. I think I
Moderately
used that one
keno.
before. Scratch that. I'm shawsome. No, I used that one too. Fuck.
You need some new interesting adjectives.
Yeah, I'm doing quite well, I think.
Oh,
Aside
man.
from the irregularity in the bowels, well, I'm fucking feeling good, dude.
Ew. Right. All right. Well, I'm getting ready to go to Tennessee for 4 days with my super uber Christian family reunion.
Oh,
It includes several pastors and worship leaders and that sort of thing. So I can hardly wait.
Would you lose a bet? What the
I
fuck
need your
happened?
thoughts and prayers. Oh, wait a minute. No, those don't work for me.
Yeah.
No, it's a family reunion. It's my mom. That's my family, you know. And she's like, "We're having a family reunion. Can you come up?" Oh,
In
okay.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Don't they go to family reunions to meet women?
What?
Tennessee.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, actually, it's kind of weird, but
My wife
none of my
and my
family
sister?
is from there. None of my family's from there, but somehow half of them have moved there, and that's where we're meeting. So I don't know.
Shit. All right.
Well, some of them are Canadians now, so I don't know.
Eh?
So I'm gonna, be incognito over the weekend, or at least try to avoid any religious arguments for my mother's sake. It's gonna be fun.
Well, if you do have any, come back and share them. That would be really awesome.
I'm sure I'll have something interesting.
So none of them know yet. Still, I mean, they still just don't know.
You know what? I don't actually know. I don't think it would be really discussed that much. I don't know. It's not that hard to put the connection, between my different Facebook personas. So
You should untuck the Baphomet this time. See what happens.
yeah, I'm going to be severely outnumbered. I'm only going to be there for a couple of days.
You
I'd
need
rather
Jesus, boy.
just be pleasant. Yeah. None of them have accents either, so no southern accents, but all the neighbors there do. So,
Yeah, and are they invited to the party or just family?
dude, you know what? Actually, I do have something pretty kind of creepy to tell you about up there.
Oh,
Up
okay.
there. For me, because I'm in Florida, it's up there. So
Yeah.
it's the legend of the midget Amish community.
What?
Dude, I'm serious. Last time we went to my mom's house, I don't know, my wife was looking down, she missed or something. It was broad daylight, and I drove past an entire community. They were in this field working. There had to be at least 7 or 8 of them, all midget Amish.
Really?
Interesting.
Creepy, dude. That's like a horror movie in the making.
Is it called Oz?
I don't know, and I freaked out about it. I was like, holy shit, did you see that? My wife's like, what are you talking about? But we get there, and, I'm like telling my wife, like, there's freaking midget Amish runners. She's like, oh, yeah, he brings us eggs.
Are they mini eggs?
They're probably Cadbury's or something.
How do you get to their place? Is it like a yellow brick road?
Right?
When a midget procreates with a midget, does it make a midget?
No.
No, well, I think it can.
It can, but yeah.
Huh. That's something I need to Google.
No, I've seen the families on TV where they have like midget mother and father,
They have both,
and,
yeah.
and then the son's 6'5". So.
Huh. She fucked the mailman.
Oh.
Well, hopefully when I come back and tell you about it, it'll be a short story.
Let's start the damn show.
Welcome to the daily grind. Are you afraid of the dark? Or do you perhaps simply enjoy getting up to your mischief with the lights on? Well, this time I will teach you how to replace one of your wall or ceiling light bulbs once it is utterly spent. First and foremost, you'll want to make sure the bulb is cooled down enough to be handled. Don't grab it right away. It might be too hot to the touch. If you're like me and you're too short to reach the bulb on your own, you'll want to get yourself something stable and sturdy to balance on. Next, reach for the bulb. Careful now. Ooh, reach for it. Feel how smooth it is as your hand takes hold. There you go. Now you've got it. It's time now to give your bulb a good screwing. Oh, I mean an unscrewing. I got a little too excited and got ahead of myself there. Set the spent bulb safely to the side and replace it with a fresh one of the correct wattage. Screw it in carefully now. Continue to screw the bulb until it is firmly in place, but not so tight that you can't remove it again. Now, if you all get out there and replace your bulbs, we could perhaps have a nice simultaneous screwing.
And now it's time for Where Are They Now?
So what's up, guys? Brandon Phinney, who was our guest on episode 71, politician in New Hampshire, has jumped ship from the Republican Party and made national news. So he wants to come on and tell us why he told all the Republicans to fuck off and what he's doing now. So what's up, Brandon?
Thank you,
Welcome
Adam.
back.
How's it going, Brandon?
Thank you for having me on such short notice. I appreciate you.
Right on, man.
Yeah, we heard you jump ship. Tell us about it. What happened?
Last week, I was like, that this party really isn't for me. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. And I've always wanted to be in the Libertarian Party, but I needed to find the right time to do it. So I waited till after the budget vote, and then I just announced it today. So.
All right.
All right. So you went libertarian.
I did.
Did you tell them people why?
Yes. So there have been a few press releases today. I did an interview about a week ago prior to this as well. I didn't feel that the Republican Party were the fiscal conservatives that the state really needs. The state budget that was proposed increased spending even more than like the last two administrations combined. It's like more than 10% of general fund spending increases was like almost $600 million. Like, that's insane to me.
Is that all?
Yeah. Well, we have around a $12 billion budget, for a state of like 2 million people. So I thought that was really excessive, and I met with the governor himself after he actually called me personally. I met with him in his office again, and I was like, look, sir, I can't stand on this and vote in favor when it goes against my principles completely. And myself and the two other libertarians in the state house actually walked out of the vote. We didn't even vote for the budget. And we went back into the room after that bill had been cleared. So it's been an interesting past couple weeks as far as what I've been doing politically and who I've been involved with and just how things have kind of transpired. It's been interesting.
Awesome.
All right, so for episode 83, John.
Yes, sir.
I command you to balk like a chicken.
Yes, master. Bakok.
Was that a bakok or was that a fuck off?
I'll never tell. Adam,
Yes.
Who do we got?
Today we have Warlock of the Church of Satan and artist and hypnotist G. Edwin Taylor.
Nice. How's it going, sir?
Man.
Hello.
Hello.
Technical difficulties are aside, hopefully.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Oh, perfectly.
Oh, awesome. I'm already under your spell. What's happening?
Yeah,
What you been doing lately?
Me personally?
Yeah, of course.
Actually,
guest.
well, I didn't know if you were talking to me or if you were talking to one of the others.
No, I'm always talking to
No,
you
I just recently
or myself.
got certified for my as an NLP practitioner.
NLP. What is that?
Yes, neuro-linguistic programming.
Is that what
It was-
R2D2 did in Star Wars?
Dude, he was a protocol droid. Everyone knows that.
I know.
He programmed binary lifters.
It's almost sexy that you know that. But so go on, G.
So yeah, no, neurolinguistic programming. It was developed back in the late '60s, '70s by two men, Bandler and Grinder. That part of it was based on Dr. Milton Erickson's way of using hypnosis. He did a very conversational type style. There were other people that they used and borrowed from, but NLP itself is not a thing. It's like a collection of things. So there is a little bit of hypnosis involved in it if you need it to be. But then there's also like anchoring.
What's that?
Or I was going to say an example or a sample of anchoring is, think of Pavlov and his dogs. You know, where he would ring the bell and they'd salivate. You know, they were conditioned to start salivating at the sound of that bell.
Right.
So an anchoring, the salivating would be anchored to that sound. So yeah,
Gotcha.
you can do with NLP. One of the tools in NLP is anchoring and triggering, where you can anchor a feeling or.
Triggering is easy these days. Everyone's triggered by.
Oh yeah, see that's the funny thing because everyone's like, "Oh my God, I'm triggered." I'm like, that was truly the case. That can easily be fixed.
Awesome.
You just set up another anchor and fire both triggers off at the same time, and they would collapse.
So, like that, I don't know if did you see that new movie that came out recently, Get Out?
Actually, I just watched that on Saturday.
Okay, so that's triggering, right?
But then she did the stirring of the teacup and
then dinged it, yeah.
say that would be triggering. Could have also been a post-hypnotic suggestion. They didn't really go too far into how her technique was in the film.
Right.
But yeah, technically, that's what I was thinking. I was like, hey, that's a trigger.
Nice.
I got a trigger. Anytime I spark up the barbecue, I need to get a beer. It's like I gotta get one. It tastes so good. I don't know what
Well,
it
for
is.
me, that's an anchor, but you know.
That would be anchored then.
Okay,
Yeah.
anchor.
It would be anchored to that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and for me, every time Adam sparks up his barbecue, I have to get a beer.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't either. I'll find out when I get a liver test. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
What? So NLP, that's cool.
I thought I was the only one drinking tonight.
You probably are.
No.
Oh no, Dorian's drinking. What would an NLP do? Do you like just do some cool stuff for yourself, or can you be hired to do things? Like what happens when you have that?
Oh, well, it could be used on yourself, or you can use it on others if they need it. It's a way. It's just like I was saying. It's a collection of tools and techniques where you can change one state into to another. Anchor, like if you have bad feelings about something, you can remember something that was really happy in your past and pull all those triggers, or all those anchors from that one past experience that had anchored the happiness, and reapply it to the new situation, thereby changing how you feel towards that situation.
Interesting.
That's interesting. We may have to talk privately after that. I want to try some of that shit.
You know some people.
Just want to get my mother out of my fucking head.
Ah.
Anyway, I didn't really say that. I'm going to cut that out. Just nobody needs to know that shit.
That's some Freud shit there, man.
Yeah, that's some Freud. Tell me about your mother. I'll be like, that bitch. I'm not fucking talking about it. Anyway, how was your day?
Very relaxing. I just kind of chilled. See, I'm on vacation right now.
Where'd you go?
My parents and nowhere. That's the thing. My parents and my sister went on vacation as well this week. So I took my vacation, and now I'm house sitting.
That sucks. That's not a vacation. That's time off.
I'm triggered.
Oh, well, see, to me, it's a vacation because I have absolutely no contact with the outside world.
Ah.
It's just,
Except for us.
Sorry about that. I didn't even mean to do that. Actually, I'm trying to anchor. But anyway, what... Fuck, I had a question. I forgot what it was.
It's okay. There's time. You'll remember it.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people want to know some stories about hypnotism, if you have any for us. Any kind of interesting things that you've seen that you've done with it?
Yeah, have you ever hypnotized like a really hot smoking chick and made her do some unmentionable things that you want to mention here?
You mean like hypnotized her and had her orgasm?
Fuck yeah, you did that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about it. Start from the beginning and speak slowly.
All right, I gotta think of which one I'm gonna use.
What a stud!
Yeah, the brunette. I love brunettes.
Oh yeah, I mean most of the ones I've dated have been brunettes.
Nice.
And you had
Okay,
to
there was
hypnotize
one
them
who-
into thinking they had a good time?
There was one where I put her under. She had asked me to do this because it was an experiment. I didn't really know a whole lot about hypnosis at the time, even though I've been practicing it on and off since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I only knew like one induction technique, and I knew that there was more to it. I just never pursued it. And I got to thinking, one day I was like, oh, hypnosis can be used to eliminate pain, where somebody could undergo surgery or have a headache, gotten rid of. Then wouldn't it make sense that you could also increase pleasure?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved the idea and wanted to experiment. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So put her under, and gave her a post-hypnotic suggestion, brought her out, and it seemed to be working okay. And what's weird is I ended up inadvertently doing NLP later by anchoring a certain word to her having an orgasm. Actually, and the word I used was cherry. So for months
That sounds
later,
appropriate.
all I'd have to do is say the word, and she would come incredibly hard.
Nice.
Awesome.
And we would do this like in public sometimes, just for shits and giggles at a bookstore. She'd walk up to me, I'd lean over, whisper in her ear, and she'd, grab my shoulder and bite into it, as she tensed up. Test over.
You gotta go to an ice cream shop then,
Oh, well, this is where it starts to get more interesting. Cause,
Yeah, can I get a cherry
later.
on top of that?
She was out to lunch or some shit with some of her friends, and they ordered their food, and one of them ordered a Coke, and the waiter asked me, he's like, well, we got cherry Coke. And it didn't. She got pissed. She got pissed at me, even though she didn't orgasm, she got really turned on, and like really soaking wet. So she had to excuse herself from the table, and then she went into the women's washroom. She called me, bitching at me, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Hey, I thought it was just anchored to me saying it personal.
Right.
I hadn't even thought that it could, somebody else could possibly trigger it off. And even though it didn't trigger it completely, it did it enough to the point where she was just like really sexually frustrated all of a sudden. So while she was in the women's washroom and she was yelling at me, I had to say the word a couple of times, and until she got it out of her system and she was able to go back to her friends with a smile on her face.
Would that work? Like if, say, like after that, like if you sent her if you just texted her the word cherry and she read it?
If I had anchored it like that, then yeah, it would have worked.
Huh.
Interesting.
It could be a sound, it could be a smell, it could just be a sight, it could be a gesture, or like you raise your hand and all of a sudden boom, it happens.
That's interesting.
That is cool.
So let me ask you this: how often do you find someone who seems to, where maybe it seems at first like they're being hypnotized, but you can tell that they're really just going through the motions? Like when you see them on TV and like they bring up like an entire audience and half of them are just bullshitting their way through it. Is that something that happens a lot where people want to be hypnotized so much that they just kind of play along?
There will be people like that. The hypnotist on stage should be able to notice that. Right. And if they're a good stage hypnotist, they will dismiss the person from the stage and say, something along the lines of like, you know what, you're doing a really great job, but I think you'll have a lot more fun in the audience watching everyone else.
Gotcha.
I think it'll be a much more enjoyable experience. That way nobody's feeling bad. They're not put on the spot. But, even though the hypnotist himself or herself called them out on it, it's very low key. It's like, hey, you know what? We got this show to do. Kind of need you to kind of go back. You'll enjoy it more if you're just watching.
Yeah, that's cool.
And and the people that are usually up on stage are, they're chosen because they're the somnambulists in the audience.
Gotcha. So it's something that kind of
will go through like numerous. A stage hypnotist will go through numerous suggestibility experiments. And do like a magnetic fingers or hand clasp where the hands become glued. And the ones that react the fastest and the strongest, hey, that's the one I want up on stage because they're going to help put on the great show.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So so doing those experiments are kind of like a stratification.
Interesting.
That's very.
It is cool. No, we did hear one story of the woman orgasming thing. Do you have another? I just didn't want to get off the subject
or
yet.
Just something different. Along the same lines.
Sure. Just yeah.
One girlfriend when I'd moved to New York, she wanted to experiment one time during sex. So I was like, okay. So I put her in a hypnotic trance and gave her the suggestion that on every sixth thrust she would come, and each time she came it would be harder than the previous time, so it would just build on it, continually. So
Smashed.
After all was said and done, and after we were completely finished, I had to get out of bed. She could barely walk, her legs were shaking. I had to I went and made her a sandwich and gave her a glass of water because she couldn't really do it on her own.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is cool.
The human mind is a trip. So what you guys don't know is before the show, I kind of feel like talking to G. Edwin Taylor, he kind of gave me a little psych eval. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I mean...
No, you and I had a pretty lengthy discussion earlier today.
Oh, right. What'd you guys talk about?
Basically hypnosis. What it was, what it wasn't.
Right.
Okay. So can you hypnotize Adam to where, every time he hears TDYK or the devil he creams his jeans? And just makes a mess?
If he was prone to do something like that, where he got really excited, then it's a possibility.
He does get excited.
How about just like a girly giggle?
Hell yeah!
It all depends on It all depends on how much of an exhibitionist he would be, I would think.
Oh, I've seen him.
Well,
I've seen him on stage in
the way I
L.A.
look at it,
He's an exhibitionist, all right.
because like I said, everybody can be hypnotized. Some people respond better to certain inductions, other more so than another. So
Well, how about something
the
like
most common one is the progressive muscle relaxation induction, where you tell them just, sit down, get comfortable, and just grow more and more relaxed as you listen to my voice, just yourself sinking. And then you feel your legs feeling relaxed, your feet feeling relaxed. You go through like pretty much every body part.
Yeah,
it's very time consuming. Works most of the time. Some people it won't have much of an effect on. They can't relax. But those people can still go into a hypnotic state. If you've ever read a book or watched a really good movie, you were so absorbed that you didn't know what else was going on around you. Like somebody walked past, put something down. A couple of minutes later, you look down and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? You didn't even see them walk by because you were so involved. You were so highly focused on what was in front of you or what you were listening to or reading, that everything else just kind of seemed to drift off. That's similar to the hypnotic state.
I think cell phones do that to a lot of people.
That's how I felt the first time I met John, and I heard the song Dreamweaver playing in my head.
It's crazy.
Do you see cell phones hypnotizing people?
I see people very absorbed in the screens.
Yeah.
And I just while they're doing that, I think they're kind of in that state. And then I realized that it wouldn't take much more to get to deepen them and then drop in a suggestion.
Interesting.
But that's highly unethical.
But fun.
Never said it wasn't.
Can you get Adam to be hypnotized so every time he hears this?
Vagina.
He says, "I love vagina." Like right after that.
If he was
Vagina.
if he's one of the types that would be chosen for a stage show, then
he was chosen.
Yes.
He would volunteer to do that though, so
Adam.
I do love vagina.
if you can make him say no thanks, I'll take the cock, then I'll be impressed.
I just love the cock.
For the record. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I got a question. I read somewhere, I don't remember where, I might have wrote it down and then read it, but I read somewhere that when you're going the exact speed limit and the lines in the center of the road, they can hypnotize you.
Yes, road hypnosis.
Oh, it is real.
If you go down, like if you're it's not even necessarily the lines. I mean, it doesn't matter like what speed you're going at. Just the constant repetition can lull you into that trance where you start basically operating on automatic. If you've ever driven from work back home or went on a long trip and all of a sudden you're there and you're like, fuck, I don't remember the ride.
I do that all the time.
Drove through the desert.
Yeah, exactly. That was a hypnotic state. But driving is ingrained in you to such a point where it becomes an unconscious response that your mind is able to kind of drift off, and you're still able to be safe and like that.
I do that every day in a garbage truck. My route is the same every day, and I go on autopilot. There are days where I'm like, did I fucking go on that street?
Vagina.
Yeah, I love vagina.
That's funny. Oh, you're such a good sport, Adam. How about the toilet? Because when I'm sitting on a toilet, I blank out and then I have amazing ideas. What is that? Anything?
That's
just,
Well, your brain's working then. You're not really hypnotized.
Oh,
Just
okay.
deep in thought.
Well, deep in thought, if you're highly focused on that thought, that could be a hypnotic state.
The shitnotic state.
Oh shit. So how long you been into this? Like, when did you start getting into it?
Okay. I don't remember exactly when I first became interested in hypnosis. It started when I was a little kid. More than likely it was through watching horror films or some vampire movie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And when I was 16, I was in high school. There's a used bookstore that I frequent, and I happened to be there one day, and I was looking around for new stuff. Came across this book on hypnosis that was from the 1950s, and I was like, "Well, hell, sure, let me. This sounds interesting. I don't have anything on this yet." So I bought it, went home, read it again. I was like, "Damn, this is cool." And so I'm going to tell you another story. This all leads into the next one. So after I learned all that, the very first person I ever hypnotized was my kid's sister. This was about a couple of weeks after I had, read the book. I came up with some ideas, like, okay, because they talked about the pendulum, the swinging of the watch. And I realized it had nothing to do with the watch itself, but it was more about the eye fixation, the concentration and the focus.
Right.
So instead of you can use light or what have you, I decided just, off the top of my head, I grabbed a Q-tip, sat on the couch, had my little sister sitting in a recliner. She was like 7 years old at the time, and she was game. She was like, "Yeah, okay, let's try this out." So I had her concentrate on the Q-tip as I did a muscle relaxation induction, because that was the only one that was really covered in that. And I got the whole arm levitation going, where her arm was just floating. She was in a comfortable state, and I just sat there for a while, in just awe, because I was like, "Holy shit, I did this." So then I walked away into the next room, and I was in the kitchen. I decided, because I was a little hungry, so I made myself a sandwich. And then the phone rang, and I answered it, and it was a friend of mine asking me what I was doing. Told me, I'm like, "Well, I'm babysitting my sister. My parents are out for the night." He's like, "Well, it's kind of quiet there." I was like, "Well, yeah, I hypnotized her." He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "You sound like..." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm eating." He's like, "Wait." I was like, "Yeah, I made a sandwich." He's like, "So where is she now?" I'm like, "She's about 10 feet away from me with her arm floating in the air." And he's like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like, "It's really weird watching this, but it's kind of cool, too." She was perfectly safe. There's nothing, nothing can actually go wrong. There's no chance of her getting hurt, like walking outside or what have you, because I was keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
And after a while, I finished the call, finished my sandwich. I felt bad that I left her in that state with the arm floating for about 20 minutes. So I decided to give her the suggestion that when she awoke and came back to, that she would feel like she had slept a full night's sleep, 8 or 10 hours, and have this massive amount of energy. And she would have to figure out a way to burn it off, because by this point it's kind of late. It was already late at night. It was like 10 o'clock or so, and some shit like that. So I bring her out, give her the suggestion, bring her out completely. She's sitting there and she's just talking, no big deal. After a while, she starts fidgeting in the chair, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching her. She starts fidgeting more. And she's like, "I don't know what's wrong. I feel like I need to run around." So she did just that. She got up and ran in circles for a while. And then she decided that it wasn't enough. And so she started doing jumping jacks. This is now almost midnight. And then she started jogging in place and started doing more jumping jacks. And finally she had tired herself out and finally, ended up going to bed. But by this point it was already midnight. Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Funny, but yeah. So that was the very first time I had ever hypnotized anybody.
That's awesome.
And about a year later is when I ended up reading the Satanic Bible and realized I was a Satanist.
Hold on, we'll get into that. I had one question. When you were a kid and your parents were like, "Gee, Eddie, it's time for bed," and you're like, you wave your hand, you're like, "I'm not going to bed." Did they like buy it or what happened?
No, they tell me to get my ass in bed.
Oh, all right. Doesn't work
These
on
are not the
parents. It's
droids you're
weird.
looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, there was no Jedi mind trick.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever used hypnosis to truly help somebody? Like, give us a story about where you truly changed somebody's life and helped them.
Okay, there was one person I can think of where she was having an artist block. You know, and it was a really bad artist block. She had blank canvases and everything. She just couldn't find herself. She just didn't feel the creative urge. She was just kind of like stuck. And, you know, I talked with her for a while. And after I was finished, she just like, "You know what? It was really nice talking with you. I think I'm going to go paint." And she started creating again. And then the next day she thanked me because she remembered everything. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you were able to get rid of it. I've had it for months. And all it did was take you an hour." And I was like, "Oh God."
That's awesome.
Nice.
As far as using it on myself, there was one time I was starting to have a really bad migraine.
Is
I
it
don't
called
get those two out?
Is it called hypnobaiting? When you do it on yourself?
Mastertizing.
No, probably trademark.
Mastertizing? That's awesome. Go ahead. What happened?
Well, you know, I felt the migraine coming on, you know, and I knew that, you know, hypnosis can get rid of headaches and what have you. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm going to use that so I don't get this nasty, massive migraine. And I got rid of the pain. You know, within like 15 minutes, it was gone. But because it was my first time and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, I didn't take into consideration the other symptoms of the migraine, like the nausea, the dizziness, the pounding. So I could feel my head pounding, but I couldn't feel the pain from it pounding. It was a very odd sensation. So I had to re-hypnotize myself and then, you know, got rid of all the symptoms that went along with it. And I was like, lesson learned. Thank God I didn't do that on somebody else. That would have sucked.
It seems like it would be a difficult task to, I guess, I don't know, accept an influence from yourself in hypnotizing.
It is a little bit more different because you can't go fully into that state.
Right, yeah.
Because your conscious mind still has to be working in order to go through everything. But it takes a while, and you know, you don't need to be in a really deep state to have a suggestion take. You know, it could be something very light, and the suggestion will take. So.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Huh. Have you ever, I'm going to go to the other side of the other end of the spectrum from Adam's question. Have you ever hypnotized someone to cause them pain?
No.
Are you lying?
No. No. Although I would say it is possible because, you know, like with the experiment with, you know, get rid of pain, you can increase pleasure. You know, so it only stands to reason that you could increase pain in somebody.
Yeah.
But that's highly unethical. And if a hypnotist who's trying to make a career out of it at some point did things like that, word would spread very, very quickly, and that career would be ruined.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll edit it out. Do you really? Have you ever done it before?
No.
Good answer. No, that's awesome. All right, so any more hypnotizing questions, guys?
Well, I think it's a great gateway into lesser magic. Really, hypnotism. You can manipulate your emotions and your reactions to benefit yourself. That's huge. That's satanic.
Yes, very much so. It actually, I've found a lot of correlations between doing a hypnotic induction to satanic ritual itself, where you would have the suspension of disbelief, you would have the highly focused state, you would have the emotional response, which is an unconscious response. If you could trigger off an emotion, that you now have access to the subconscious. When you throw in what you want, your is to be, and it takes root.
Absolutely, I believe that.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. So how old were you?
I
when
mean,
you
that's just one way of explaining certain things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you found the Satanic Bible?
I first read it when I was 17, but I remember coming across it when I was much, much younger. But I had just seen the cover and left it alone. I don't even remember how old I was, like 9 maybe. But at 17 is when I finally, and I even completely forgot that I had even seen it back then. So when I was 17, a friend of mine at the time had suggested, reading it.
Yeah.
This was at the height of the Satanic Panic. I was being accused of being, the evil devil worshiper in school. I had my artwork banned from, classes, because I was drawing horror and painting monsters and, what have you. So I went out, bought it, came home, showed it to my mom. I was like, great, just what you need, another book. Read it, was like, holy shit. Read it again, had a deeper feeling of holy shit. Read it a third time, I was like, damn, this is me through and through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I first realized.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you showed your mom the book. Did she freak out, or did you tell her that you identified as a Satanist?
When I was growing up, my grandmother loved reading books on magic. She read her own, she would read the tarot cards for herself, and things along those lines.
Yeah.
And, so my mother was just like, all right, kind of like what your grandmother's into. Just kind of, you hang out with her. She was the one, my grandmother had actually given me my first couple of books on magic itself. So it was there was already like a priming.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, great, just another one. So yeah, I didn't have any problems as far as that was concerned, which I was lucky, because most people, you generally have quite the opposite. We're screaming, shouting, you're not reading that fucking thing. It's fucking people, burn it.
Yeah.
You open it up, the hellmouth itself will swallow you.
Oh, yeah.
So, so I was lucky in that regard, where I didn't have any of those issues. And of course, my mother, most of my family members just thought it was just a phase that I was going through.
Yeah.
Of course.
A phase that's lasted almost 30 years.
It's a good phase.
Nice. Right on.
That's cool.
All right.
So, and you're a warlock now, right?
I am.
Okay, yeah.
I was promoted, elevated a little bit year and a half ago, I think.
Oh, okay. How long have you been a member?
I gotta think. It's been a long time. See, I first realized I was a Satanist when I was 17. I think I became a member when I was 21, maybe 22.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, about 20 years now. And
Nice.
at the time, I had filled out the active application at the same time, and I just sent it. Every 2 months later, I got my little red card.
Yep. How about coworkers? Like, do they know that you're a Satanist? Have you opened up to them about it?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty public when it comes to things like that. I wear the sigil Baphomet wherever I go, unless it's appropriate for me to tuck the horns away.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, my employer, like my boss, his attitude is like, yeah, all right, whatever. That's G Edwin. The rest of my coworkers are like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's G Edwin.
Yeah.
Quite an eclectic group that I work with. So yeah, no, everything. There's never really been any problems, and my boss and the other workers know that I won't discuss religion or politics.
Yeah.
While I'm there, because too many problems, too many people want to, too many arguments start.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Of course.
I want to get hypnotized.
Yeah, is there a way? Like, can you actually do something? Is there any way to do it? Right now on the air with Adam or something like that. Is there a way to, or maybe try with all three of us and see which one falls for it?
That would probably be a better possibility, where I just kind of do a general one and see who reacts the most.
All right.
Because I can't really, since I can't see what's going on and I'm not there.
Well, I'm in my chair in my office in my underwear, if that matters.
Ew.
What? I'm comfortable.
It's sticky.
What do you?
No, we can. I can walk. We can walk through a quick induction.
All right, let's do it. I'm down.
We've got to have some sort of goal if we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a disclaimer before we do this? Do you want to give a disclaimer before we do this or anything?
Oh, I will in a moment. Once I was going to say we can try. We can go for a feeling of comfort and happiness. How's that sound?
That's kind of boring. Do you want to do a?
As boring as it sounds, that'd probably be the safest.
I know.
I got ice cream.
I can't see what's going on.
Make me happy.
All right, here's what you could do. Help Dorian and me lose some weight. We're getting heavy.
Oh, I'm
that's not gonna.
I'm a big boy myself.
Weight on the air.
Yeah, that's and as far as like weight loss, that kind of takes more than one session.
Yeah, I get it.
There's a lot of different things that need to be worked with, like eating habits and diet.
All right. Well, I recently, like a few days ago, about maybe 4 or 5 days ago, ate some Indian food, and I've had the shits for a while. So maybe if you can help me get rid of that, I'd feel fucking grateful.
Oh,
I mean, I've been eating bananas, drinking kefir, having little pieces of toast, trying to battle it, but it is working a little bit.
This all hasn't worked.
I don't like doing that stuff. I don't like medicines. I like the brat technique. That's banana, rice, applesauce, and toast. That'll get rid of it. And kefir. Kefir is like the good probiotics that fight the bad stuff that's in bacteria that's in your body. So
I thought it was kefir.
Kefir.
I
Kefir,
never even heard of this, so this is new to me.
Yeah, I get the strawberry one. It's amazing. Anyway, that's a whole nother show. Let's do this.
Let's do this thing. Let's start feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good.
See, let's just we could just do the whole good feeling, happiness, comfort. That's relatively safe since I can't be there to watch engage everyone's responses.
Right.
So this is where the disclaimer comes in. If if you're listening to this right now, turn it off. If you're driving or operating any kind of heavy machinery, you don't want to hear this. Pause it, listen to this part once you're home, comfortable, sitting in a chair, because otherwise, because safety is top priority.
Right. G. Edwin Taylor, Adam Roberts, Dorian Gray, and John Shaw and the WNO podcast are not responsible for what happens to you while listening to this.
Okay. Just want you to sit there. Just feel yourself, just get comfortable. Shift, move around, do whatever you need to do until you get comfortable. I want you to just kind of realize and focus on how comfortable that that feeling is. As you listen to my voice, I want you to just feel that sense of comfort increase. Just let it get a little bit more, growing a little bit more comfortable. You can feel your arms growing comfortable, your legs, your feet relaxing. Just growing more and more comfortable as you sit there. And just let that feeling just kind of float there for a while you just concentrate totally on that. And while you're concentrating on this feeling of comfort, I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale. And I want you to take another deep breath in and exhale. I want you to concentrate on your breathing as you sit there and feel yourself just comfort. And just really focus on that. Focusing on your breathing. Feeling yourself relaxing as you sit there. Your arms relaxing. Shoulders. Just feeling everything getting relaxed and comfortable. As you're feeling that, I want you to feel yourself going deeper. It's as if you're standing at the top of the stairs. And as we count, we're going to walk down the stairs, and when you get to the bottom of the stairs, you're going to feel even more comfortable. And all you have to do is just listen and follow. Top of the stairs. 10. Go down the step. 9. 8. Growing more and more comfortable. More and more relaxed. Feeling yourself going deeper and deeper. 7. 6. 5. Going deeper and deeper. More and more comfortable. 4. 3. 2. 1. Feeling extremely comfortable now. Just letting yourself just sit there, relaxing. As you're sitting there and relaxing and feeling this incredibly deep sense of comfort, maybe you'll remember a time, maybe it was recent or sometime in the past, something that happened that made you feel really happy. Just think about that for a moment. Let yourself go back to that time and feel that happiness. Remembering everything that was going on around you. The sights, the smells, the sounds. Just letting that, being immersed in that moment. And feeling that happiness grow. Getting bigger and bigger. Just letting it overcome you to the point where you feel incredible. You feel incredible now. Calm. You feel great. Remembering that happy thought. Now, I'm going to count to 5. On 5, I want everyone, I want you to come back, back to where you are. But when you come back, you can take a look around. You might want to shake it off. you're still going to feel that comfort, and you're still going to remember and feel that sense of happiness. 1, coming back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Fully aware, wide awake, feeling absolutely fantastic.
I don't know about you guys, but I've got a boner.
I feel good.
How do you all feel? Serious.
I seriously.
Idiot. No, I feel good, man. I actually was, trying to do everything, and I thought of a very, very, very happy time, happy day. So the whole time you were talking, I just had this like perma-grin on,
There you go.
That was cool.
So yeah, you've experienced that state.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Yes, and our apologies to anyone that actually crashed their car at this time, but it's not our fault.
I'm not sorry.
That's why the disclaimer.
Sorry, you idiot.
Drive
Yeah.
Vagina.
this shit to your home.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. He's supposed to say I love vagina. Adam, are you there?
I'm here, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was relaxed. I'm sorry. I love vagina.
Feeling good, Adam?
I'm smiling. It was good.
That's awesome.
All right.
Right on.
Well, G. Eddie, we want to ask you one question we ask of all of our guests, man. What does Satan mean to you?
I'll give you 2 answers. I'll give you the answer that I originally wrote down on my application, when I was joining the church.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And then I'll give you the updated. Back on the application, I'd written down that Satan meant to me the darker side of humanity, the primal force, it was our instincts, so to speak. The things that people wanted to shun away from. That was my initial response. Today, I would say the meaning is still somewhat the same, but just changed or tweaked a little more. Today, I would say that Satan means to me, Satan's what motivates you. Satan represents that core value inside that makes you want to become more, earn, do more. The driving force that you have. It's that motivating factor. And that could be lust for one person, it could be greed for another, or could even be, where you just want to help somebody else out. To me, that motivation, that core value, that is what I think Satan is.
That's awesome.
Right on, man.
Yeah, man, right on.
G. Edwin Taylor, you were named Best New Visual Artist of Chicago from the Chicago Reader. That's something huge there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2012.
Yeah, so checking out your artwork, you can go to gedwintaylor.com and buy prints of his artwork. Some of it's very beautiful.
Actually, I don't offer prints anymore. I mean, I did a long time ago, but the prints themselves weren't really selling. It was weird. People were actually preferring to commission me for originals. I'd have people who'd say, "Oh yeah, I can't afford a $20 or $30 print, but here's 500. I want an original."
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's weird because that passion kind of slowly died down a bit, and as that was dying down is when that old passion for hypnosis started amping up. And so for the last couple of years, I've just immersed myself in studying and learning everything that I possibly, involving, hypnosis. So, people ask me, often, "Hey, have you painted anything?" But, no, I haven't. But, if you let me shake your hand, I make you feel really great.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, man, again, thanks for coming on. It's been amazing talking to you. You are now a devil we know, and we just want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having me on. I know we've been trying to do this for the last couple of months, and my schedule's always been kind of wonky. So I'm glad that we were finally able to get it all done, and finally able to do this.
Hells yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, till next time, everyone. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.